And welcome to Split Decisions. What is Split Decisions? Well, it's a show where we cover the very best topics in all of combat sports. Your hosts are myself, Ricky, and Sean. You guys know us from X or Instagram or wherever. And our job is basically to find the most noteworthy topics. It doesn't matter the type of fighting. We want to find the thing to talk about. We're going to bring in fighters, experts, and of course, other noted fans and people around the MMA industry to help us get to our final verdict on every single topic. First, I'm going to introduce Ricky.
Ricky, Sicko Sports on Twitter. Follow me on there, and let's get into it. Let's jump over to my boy Sean.
What's going on? PC Strickland on Twitter. Bringing you the hottest takes known to man. We're gonna break it down from top to bottom with some good fight talk, and you'll get to know us a little bit more too. So I'm ready to bring it to you.
That is exactly what we're about. Keeping it real, sharing the sport, and that's what we're here to do. All right, let's get right into it. We can't go any further, though. I have to mention the people up in our corner, the AllStar Sports. You know them. If you don't know them, get to know them. They're available in all your Play stores. Free app, fully customizable, all sports. But most importantly, exclusive MMA content. We have a pipeline on fighters. We got a pipeline. So this is where you're going to get that inside information. All right, let's crack it. First topic. UFC 300 is finally here. All right. We've been talking about this event, what feels like since 6 months ago. It is probably the most anticipated. What is it? 100. I just lost the word for things that are going in hundreds. Centennial events. There you go.
There we go. You found it.
I found it. Centennial events. Dude, this has got to be the biggest one. The old guy in the room, I'm going to point it out, was there for number 1, was there for 100, was there for 200, luckily still alive for number 300. But I got to say, the vibe and anticipation for this Centennial event is completely different. And forget what I have to say about it. Let's see what the guys have to say. Ricky, do you think that this event is maybe overhyped by the fans?
By the fans, I'm not sure, man. Originally, I think it was overhyped, right? A lot of people wanted the Conor McGregor news. They all wanted the Israel Adesanya, the Jorge Masvidal, the Nate Diaz, Ronda Rousey. Like those guys are gone, man. Those guys are long gone. I don't know if we'll ever get those type, especially when you talk about like a Conor McGregor. So I think fans were a little disappointed at first. I know I saw it all over my feed. I'm sure you guys did too. People were like, this is not living up to the hype. It's not the fights we wanted. And yes, they wanted that big 1 million plus pay-per-view buys. I don't know if or when the UFC will ever be back to that. I don't even know if it's possible anymore. But for me personally, yeah, it lived up to the hype. It may not have that marquee 100% sell over 1 million pay-per-view buys. Again, Conor's not here. Conor may or may not come back. But what it does have is a depth to the card that personally, I don't know if I've ever seen it. Wasn't here for UFC 1, wasn't here for those first couple, Rob, but as far as depth goes, from early prelims all the way through, the amount of fights on here and just the marquee names on here, it's insane. So for me, yeah, it did live up to the hype.
And I can fully feel that. I mean, every time a Centennial event came up, I feel like the UFC really tried to answer the call. We know a little bit what happened with 200, but that's outside of, human control, really. Sean, you're in the streets. You're talking to people. Is this the right amount of anticipation for a fight? 6 months of talking.
I think I want to go off of what Sicko said, what Ricky said. Us as fans, I think it lived up to the hype for us. I don't think it's touching the mainstream markets as I thought it was going to touch. I could be wrong. I'm trying to see the fight talk that I hear with like a Conor McGregor card or something else. I thought a UFC 300 would live up to a Conor McGregor card where you get casuals coming in, your mom's talking about it, your uncle's talking about it who doesn't even watch fights. I hear it here and there, but definitely not as much. But for me as a fan, this card is 10 out of 10. You get champions from top to bottom, early prelims to the end of the card, main event. You can't really beat it as a real fan. I mean, if you're mad about this card, I don't know if you really like the sport. So that's my opinion on it.
I will take that, bro. If you don't like this card, I'm going to say it. If you don't like this card, you're not a fan of this sport. They brought out all the king's horses and all the king's men. I mean, honestly, I was making jokes like, what are they gonna do for 301? Just light that shit on fire and say good luck. Like, but the fact that they're even building a 301 after this is crazy. So yeah, man, I'm totally support that. Now let's get to the heavy part, the verdict. What are we really anticipating for this match? What are we really looking forward to on this card? The fight that gets your fucking juices going, that's what we're looking for. I'll go last this time. I'm gonna kick it off to Mr. PC Strickland. Sean, let's go. You're first up.
I think let's start it from the beginning. Garbrandt versus Figueiredo. I mean, you really can't beat a card starting off like that, and to me that's a banger. I mean, that's a fight maybe you won it 2 years ago, 3 years ago. But right now, Cody's having a little bit of a resurgence, and Davidson might be on his way down. So the way they're meeting right now, it could be a resurgence for either one of the guy after this fight. I think it's a perfect matchup. And for a first fight, I mean, it could be fight of the night, to be honest with you. So I'm ready for that one.
Dude, great pick. And you're talking about coming out of the gates firing, pistols blasting right away. If that fight doesn't create buzz, I don't even know what could. Let's turn it over to Ricky. Which fight are you looking forward to, my man?
I picked a different one, but I just wanted to say on what Sean said. Listen, I like to call Dana White out a lot when he lies and BS's. The one thing Dana White promised us for this card was the first fight's going to be a holy shit. I can't believe that's first fight. It is. That's a great call. That's a great pick. It really is. For me, the fight that's really got me intrigued is one that I don't know if people are going to be looking at. I don't think it's going to be the fight of the night, but it's Bo Nickel, Cody Brundage. And the reason why that fight has me excited, out of all these guys, the champion, the BMF belt on the line, all of everybody, the stakes that are on the line, even for Davison and everything that's going on, Bo Nickel might have the most pressure on him. Cody Brundage isn't a pushover. He's not a bum. He's 10-5, 2-fight win streak. One of them, yes, was a disqualification. I understand, but he's not a bum. He's not like a tomato can. But the expectation for Bo Nickel is to treat him as such. It's to run through him first round, get him out of there, and build that you're the next Hamzat. You're the next guy that it's like, hey, whoever has the belt is holding it for this dude. That's a lot of pressure for a guy that, again, is fighting a guy who has a 3-fight losing streak on his record. So for Bo Nickel, it's not win. It's win impressively. So for me, I'm ready to jump on that Bo Nickel train. So let's see if he lives up to it.
And I'm totally with you on that. And this crazy right now. The last I checked, the odds for Bo Nickel is a negative 2,300, which will make him, which if it keeps going up, because by the way, it started at 18, negative 18, and it keeps climbing. If it settles anywhere where it's at, he will become the largest favorite in UFC history.
And that's what I'm saying, bro. It's not win. It's win by murder. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's another thing. I want to say that, I know I'm repping for Team Vegas, but the bookies ain't in it to say you how bad he's gonna kick his ass. The bookies are just protecting him that he's gonna win this. And I back up what you're saying. Cody Brundage is a man, just like many men in the league. They train, and his brother's back is against the wall. You think he doesn't want to like instantly turn around his career with one magic shot? Of course he does. All right. I'm going to turn to my pick for most anticipated match of 300, and I'm going to fucking cheat. All right. First one, Max Holloway. You know what it is. Choo! Hawaiians all day, every day. It's coming on. And you guys might have seen Aloha print fight pants. Congratulations, world. You're welcome. You get to look good while fighting. But really, the inner fan of me, you see the PFL shirt, forever and ever. You know what it is? I've been watching Kayla Harrison since judo. Yeah, that's right. Since the judo time. So I'm anticipating Kayla H, bro. This is a big deal, dude. I think a lot of people underplay this. Yeah, we lost Francis, but grabbing the biggest woman athlete out in the field is a good move for the UFC. Also, Holly Holm. Man, she's no chump. She's been grinding. And if you guys haven't been paying attention, she's been grinding with Cyborg. So you talk about two legends trying to put together a game plan for a lady. Yeah, that's it. So there you go. That's my big anticipated moments for the fights. Those are the ones I'm looking forward to. But I really, like you guys said, top to bottom, there's no sandwich fights this fight. I'm going to have to prepare all my snacks beforehand, right?
100%.
All right, let's get into the next one, the big one, the biggest guy in our sport, literally, metaphysically, kind of, sort of, aura-ish. Jon Jones, right? Jon Jones versus the Law, part 3, part 4, part 5. I don't even know already. Losing track. This brother is on an endless quest to test what the limits of society will accept from him. Now I gotta play fair too. Some of these news organizations, big news organizations, you're talking about NBC and stuff like that, falsely reporting that he was arrested. Now that's fucked up. Do your guys' job, bruh. Like, seriously, there's so many of you guys copy and pasting each other's work all the way up to NBC, all the way up. You guys never called. You didn't call the Arizona Sheriff's Office. Hey, is there a Jon Jones age 38, I guess. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's easy to find out, but you guys didn't even try. So I just want to admonish everybody on that point and give the man his fair due. And I'm going to turn this to you guys. All right. I'm going to turn it to you guys as get you. I'm going to start with good old Ricky first. Ricky, Jon Jones versus the Law. What is your initial reaction to this story?
I mean, initially, the first reaction I have is exactly echoing what you just said. All the media, all the streams, everybody that you would expect to trust, drop the ball, lazy, sloppy. It's just like, listen, man, I get it. Jon Jones is in that same Conor McGregor boat and the list of a whole bunch of Draymond Green when he does something in basketball, right? You're guilty by accusation. As soon as your name is mentioned in some type of negative story, everyone just assumes you're guilty. But that's not the way the law works, guys. The way it works is there has to be enough evidence. We have to see what's going on. And in this situation by itself, just a situation, there's nothing for me to sit here and say, Jon Jones is this, Jon Jones is that, Jon Jones did it again. There's been no evidence. There's been an accusation that there's no evidence from. The only evidence that we do have is something that Jon Jones posted, right? Him walking out and high-fiving a lady and telling them bye. And he admits to losing his temper. And we don't know what that means. And we don't know how far that went. But initially, it's like, do we have a story, or is this another Conor McGregor, what happened to him at the Heat game or the restroom? If you guys remember that story, that was crazy and then led to nothing. This could just be something that leads to nothing. But what is Jon Jones guilty of? For me, it's the fact that you've led everybody to the point where if something comes out about you, the majority of the public just automatically believes it because it tends to be on brand with what Jon Jones has done in the past.
Dang, that's heavyweight. On brand for Jon Jones. Strickland, what is the Jon Jones brand right now?
It's hard to say. I mean, to be honest, like I kind of want to go off what Ricky said again. I mean, it's on brand, but like, are we? The thing with like getting in trouble, guys, like if you get in trouble, people are gonna think that person, every story that comes out about them, they're gonna be the one to believe it. Like you're in trouble often, we're gonna believe the story that you're in trouble. In this case, I want to believe Jon Jones. I think this is a hit piece out to get another superstar. When you're at the top, that's the other thing. People are gonna want to come get you when it's a perfect mixture of a guy who gets in trouble a lot and a guy who's at the top that they want to come get. And it's not really a good mixture for the people who don't really read into stories and look into stories. I think if you're a smart person, read into things, look behind what's going on, you can see that this isn't a situation where Jon is really in trouble. It's a kind of more of a hit piece. And I'm going to take Jon's side until there's more evidence that comes out and more things that come out about this. So that's that.
I totally agree with you on that. This is not ideal, right? Not ideal situation for Mr. Jones because he has a history. He has a history of being how he was. But I am also a man of changing your ways, growing up, being different, bro. I am in the later stages of 30, not the same guy as my younger, later stages of 20. So I wouldn't want to be held to that anymore, especially as making strides. And I back up what you guys said. The evidence presented is Jon's walked them out. There was no firearm. They didn't look like people who just got exposed to a firearm. They didn't look like people who were just threatened with their lives. So with that being said, it is what it is. But I will quickly say, is Jon Jones guilty? And I'm just going to render my verdict here. I don't think he's guilty. I'm gonna just like PC. I don't think he's guilty, but I'm gonna give everybody their fair chance to say what it is. I actually think Jon is clean, and I would like to see him fight as soon as he's healthy. I'm gonna turn it to Sean. Sean, guilty or not guilty?
Yeah, I'm gonna say not guilty. I'm not a judge, but let's take this with a grain of salt. We never know what the real story is. That could be, guys. That could be video footage from 6 months ago. So who knows? But I'm taking Jon's side. Not guilty.
Oh, and Sicko.
Conspiracy theory. I like that. Jon putting out an old video from a past. I love that. I like the way your mind goes. In this specific accusation, for now, it's not guilty. I don't think he's guilty of anything yet. We'll see. But in terms of guilty by default to the public, yeah. When you, like I said, when you constantly are in trouble with the law, the public is going to find you guilty, whether it's fair or not.
That is right. You only get so many strikes, and sometimes you use them up. But I hope the law does the right process and everything works out the way as it should. All right, next topic. Now, myself, I've been running spaces on the X platform proudly, the longest running MMA platform weekly, watching UFC fights continuously. My man Sicko, I'm pointing the wrong direction that way. Sicko is a co-host of mine, been there a long time. So has Sean, PC Strickland, big time contributor to the space. So something we have noticed consistently, week after week, over years, is a crazy phenomenon of awkward things, and we're going to share it with you. It's ethnic hats. Like, Rob, what the hell are you talking about? Ethnic hats? I'm talking about cultural hats from your region that you wear authentically. Like if you're a cowboy or a rancher, you wear cowboy hats, right? Such and so forth. And there's so many hats, I'm not going to run them all up. But once again, hats of your heritage. Now, I'm going to pass it over to the guys in just a second, but I'm going to say that a solid group of many people have observed all of this, and it seems to be the fighter that comes adorned in an ethnic hat has a staggering win percentage. I mean, I wish I had the math. I wish I was tabulating it the whole time, but literally off the top of our head, it's like an eight out of 10 scenario. Like it is very high chances. I'm gonna turn this over to Ricky for the first time. Ricky, you and I and Sean and everybody else trips out on this. What's your take on this ethnic hats? What's going on here?
Listen, man, I've been turned over to believing in them. Right? I'm not somebody who's superstitious. I'm not somebody who believes in that kind of stuff, but it has burned me so many times. The amount of times somebody has walked out with a fuzzy hat or something weird on their head, and I said, this doesn't mean anything, guys. Why are you guys putting stock into this? That person's going to lose because they're not as good as a fighter, and then that person goes out and wins and makes me look stupid time and time again, to the point where now I just give up. I give up. If you wear, and let's make something specific, okay? It's not if they wear a hat at some point in their life. No, they have to enter the octagon with said hat. If they do so, for some reason, they win. They win a high percentage of the time. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It's kind of an inside thing. Speaking of which, what's up, Dan? What's up, Bree? What's up, everybody from the Twitter Spaces? But we don't know why. Maybe it's because usually these guys are from different regions or they're foreigners. And maybe if we did do the math, foreigners tend to win more often. And that it could be just that. But for whatever reason, it's true. And it's burned me enough times to where I just roll with whoever has that cool looking hat when they enter the cage.
Cool looking hats. PC's got some. You can see them right behind him.
Right there. We got a Mysterio mask. We're all ready to go. But if you look at the things going on, like you look at Verna Jandiroba, you look at Shavkat, you look at Khabib, you look at Merab, every single one of these people are coming out with a hat on. You're like, what's going on? Maybe it's warming up their brain. All I can say is this will never be a betting show. But if you see somebody walking out with a hat on, fucking change your pick immediately, because you're going to get fucked up if you have the other person. It's happened way too many times. And another thing I want to say is I vow to start keeping track of these ethnic hat picks. And we're going to get a report week to week till UFC 400. And we're going to get the statistics. And we're going to show the actual stats of how many people are winning with these ethnic hats on. It's an anomaly.
That is the kind of stuff we're working here on Split Decision, folks. The deep analytics. 100 pay-per-view events later, how can ethnic hats serve you? That's what we're about. All right. So in conclusion, the question is, are ethnic hats working? Okay, that's the in conclusion. Are ethnic hats working? And let's be honest, we just shared it. It's fucking working. So get out there and represent your people. If you're Hawaiian, wear your Lauhala hats. If you're Hispanic, good on your sombreros or whatever else you got, laid around your house. Represent your culture, represent your pride. It's good for everybody. And I think the gentlemen spoke on it for themselves. They think it's working. They think it's great. I'm going to go to another topic right now, one that's a little heavy, one that people might not like: the state of the UFC flyweight division. All right, we got to address this. Once upon a time, this division was on life support, just clinging to life. It was deemed almost dead. There was rumors that it was going to be completely killed. But then they spent money. They signed some people, and voila, the division became amazing. It became the fireworks division. For a small period of time, flyweight was starting to steal the shine from everywhere else. And then, just like a supernova that it is, it went poof and has shrunk. Now it's in a dismal state where, like, the top 10 guys, most of them is going to be a 3-time rematch. And you got all kinds of other scenarios going on. And it's a little messy, to be honest. Some people don't even like watching it so much anymore. Some people are dogging the upcoming championship. And we'll get all into that in just a second. I'm going to turn it over to Sean in this round. And I want to get what his opinions of the state of the UFC lightweight division are right now.
Well, for the flyweight division, I think there's always possibility to make a return. Even though it's a little jumbly right now, I think you look at middleweight, what it's gone through in the past, where you got a champion who's almost ran through everybody in the division, and it looks like there's always rematches, and then all of a sudden, a challenger beats him, and then another challenger beats him, and it's almost like we had 3 champions in the past year or so now. And it's almost like now we have 5 or 6 guys in that division who can challenge for a title at any time, or they're one fight away from challenging for one. So I think with the flyweight division, I don't want to get too fast on saying this is beat, this is done yet, this is over. I think there's a lot to prove at flyweight. I think next thing you know, you have a guy come up out of nowhere. The flyweight division's popping again, and it's a young division. So that's the thing that people forget too. The flyweight division is not a division ran by old dudes; it's a division ran by young people. And I think when young guys get in there, all it takes is a new 18-year-old, 19-year-old to shake things up a bit, and we're back to a healthy division.
That's a solid take. Ricky, what are you looking at when you see the UFC flyweight division?
Yeah, solid points by Sean. It is a young division, right? When we think about that weight, when we think about the weight cutting, it's typically going to be younger guys. The older you get, the harder it is to make that weight. But for me, man, that division is down bad. Like, it's just tough at this point. The amount of pullouts, we can't get a top fight. Where has Kai Kara France been? Manal Kape cannot make a fight to save his life. Bouncing in and out, the amount of rematches 3 times, 4 times, trilogies all over the map, to the point where now you have the 10th ranked Steve Erceg now fighting for the title. And to Sean's point, he could win and then all of a sudden, oh shit, everything changes. Or he can lose and we're stuck saying who the hell is next. And even a young guy, like Sean said, young guys need to step up and they need to make the division happen. Well, look at Muhammad Mokaev, for instance. A lot of people feel like just based off of record and winning streak, he would be next for a title shot. But unfortunately, his performances just haven't led to us putting him there, right? The UFC is not a business where your win streak alone gets you there. It has to be the performances as well, right? We don't know if Jorge Masvidal had the win streak or the record to really put him in multiple championships, but he went viral. We do know that someone like Bilal Muhammad has the win streak to put him there. Still hasn't had his title fight. So Muhammad Mokaev is in that situation, and all the guys that are coming up that are young, that can make that weight class easily for now, they've got to make that run, and they've got to be more exciting in their wins. Winning isn't good enough, man. You have to do something that pushes you forward, like a Steve Erceg did. And because of those knockouts, he finds himself in a title fight where a lot of people are questioning whether he's worthy of it or not.
And I'm with you on that. The people wondering whether you're worthy or not, I mean, they're not training, they're not fighting. You would never wonder that about people who fought this much and stuff like that. But on the other side, the state of the division is exactly jacked up, exactly like you guys said. But I'm looking for an answer out of this, right? And my answer to this problem is go crazy. Take everybody in the top of the rankings and force them to fight everybody near the bottom. All new matchups, just complete shuffle the deck. Some are going to go up, some are going to go down. There are going to be some great things and some bad things, but at least we'll get a reshuffling of the deck, because right as it stands, between popularity and using a little bit of meritocracy, you're running into some boring quadruple, triple fight scenarios. And I'm gonna triple box this, get us all up on here. We're gonna just do a little vote between all of us, get our split decision in on this. And real quick, the question that's had is, are we gonna get rid of the flyweights? We're gonna get rid of the flyweights. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna defend my dudes like Charles Johnson and Ode Osborne and all the other great flyweights that come through our show. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave anybody out. I'm calling out all the motherfucking weight bullies. I'm talking to you, whoever you are, that don't belong at 125. 125 was meant for the designs by God that are a little small in life, but they still can fight, right? And you guys coming down, you're really 135ers killing yourself to try to make 125. You're polluting the division. So I don't say get rid of the flyweights. I say get rid of the weight bullies. Ricky, what about you?
Man, unfortunately, I'm going the opposite direction. I don't know how many true flyweights there are in the UFC. I'll leave you guys with this. There's an organization that I love. Rob knows what organization I'm talking about. All right, it's one championship. Their flyweight division is not 125, it's 135 because of the hydration test and the way they do things. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but they can actually weigh in at 135, and that is technically the flyweight division. If you look at the champion and you look at the guys who compete, when you just watch the flyweight division in one, they are significantly smaller just by appearance of the flyweights in the UFC. And that doesn't work for any other division in one championship, only the flyweights. So when I'm looking at the flyweights in one, I'm like, those are true. I mean, the champion, for instance, is 5'2". Mighty Mouse doesn't fight in that division. He fights a division higher in one championship. So when I look at the flyweights, I'm like, man, if you got rid of this division, that it doesn't get rid of anybody on the roster, in my opinion. All it does is make their weight cuts easier, and they just move to bantamweight, and they're still going to figure it out. But because we have such a lack of disparity in that division, because we have all of these trilogies and different guys, nobody really taking over and making the run, unless there was something like you said, Rob, unless there was some new innovative way to really shake that division up, I honestly would not lose sleep about the division going away. Not because I want any fighters to go away. Let me make that very clear. I want all the fighters to stay, and maybe they're just fighting at 135, and maybe they would love it. Maybe they'll say, oh, thank God, let me have a 125 matchup where I can weigh 135 and do it. But for me, I wouldn't lose sleep over the flyweight division. Just going away completely.
All right, Sean, not a natural flyweight, but how do you feel about it?
I might be able to make flyweight.
He's
leg
there.
leg on.
Tough cut, buddy.
There. Yeah, tough cut. It'd be an amputation, but we'll be there. Yeah, honestly, the flyweight division, I think we keep it. It's good. I like the flyweight division. I think eventually it'll be where it's at. But I'm not opposed to shaking shit up a bit. Let's throw all those motherfuckers in the tough house. Let's throw them all in a tournament. Do something different. I like it. But again, like you said, Rob, we got guys like Charles Johnson, real deal fighters who put it on the line. They go up against anybody who they're offered. They fight anybody. Those are the guys who I think are going to be around. They're the true flyweights, not the guys cutting weight, not the guys weight bullying. There's the guys that are going to be around, and I think maybe the future faces of the division. So
that's what's up, man. And I'll just say this: I was old school. You guys know my story. I come from the old school. If you weren't middleweight and up, who the fuck are you? That's the way I grew up. But as time went by, the small guys kept coming, and they kept being dynamic, entertaining, and showing technique that us bigger dudes had to figure out later on. So with all that being said, I think the flyweight division is a blessing. I will throw this out there. I know it's never going to happen, but please, somebody at the UFC, please look at what the PFL did and what the Bellator did, and taking the top 10 guys putting them in a tournament, not a multi-night tournament, but just a bracket tournament, and let the men decide who the best is. Enough of this bureaucracy shit. All these guys are right neck and neck. You clearly have it. They're all fighting each other for the second, third, fourth time. Let fighting decide. All right, I'm going to move on from that one. We're going to go on to a different topic. I know this show has been pretty UFC heavy. Apologize, but not really, because it's UFC 300, so fucking deal with it. But we have other topics at hand, and one of these is the Golden Boy of Golden Boy. What? Golden Boy Boxing. That's what I'm talking about. Who's the Golden Boy of Golden Boy Boxing? It's not Oscar De La Weirdo. It is Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is the lead horse. He's the moneymaker. He's the name. He's the draw. Sorry, Jaime Munguia. Okay, I know you've been knocking out people and trying, but you just don't got that star power. Ryan Garcia, he's got the looks, right? He's got the moves, and he's been fighting the biggest guys, all right? So he's the guy everybody's talking about, but the reason we're talking about him is he's a little bit loose. He's a little bit wild, and that's what we're going to get into here in just a second. The question I'm proposing to the gentleman is Ryan Garcia crazy, or is he just promoting in the year 2024? He's reaching a whole demographic. The demographic Sean is from. Not my gen, his gen. They're buying that shit. They're following. They're the ones on the Instagram loving this guy. So I'm going to turn it to Sean first. Is Ryan Garcia fucking crazy, or is he a master promoter?
Listen, I would consider myself somebody who knows craziness a little bit too well, considering my Twitter handle. I think Ryan Garcia though is legitimately crazy opposed to Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's just maybe a little bit out there, but Ryan Garcia is legit crazy. I think he has a little bit, maybe some screws loose, some maybe bad parenting, maybe bad parenting by Oscar. Is Oscar his dad? Who knows? It's going awry. Maybe there's drugs involved. Maybe there's something else involved. Everybody's pointing those fingers. But to me, like, even if he's just promoting it, you're doing it in the wrong way, brother. You can't be talking about kids. You can't be talking about bullshit, especially when you don't know the facts. You can talk about all these conspiracy theories, all these Bohemian Grove, all the shit that you want to talk about. But if you don't know the facts, and if you're not coming to it with the truth, and you're not coming to it with the details, and you're just using this to promote the fight, get people's attention from you, you're a fucked up person in my mind. And I do not respect Ryan Garcia if that's the case. So either way he's taking it, one side he's crazy, the other side he's fucked up. So in my mind, Ryan Garcia is crazy to me regardless.
There we go. Verdict levied. Now let's go to Ricky. Ricky, this is your boy, right? This is like your favorite boxer?
Canelo Alvarez is my favorite boxer. Caleb Plant's also above him. He is one of my favorite boxers. Now, was that prior to what's been going on now? Yes. Has that changed? No. Because in my opinion, you're either crazy or he's a genius. And listen, guys, my favorite artist is Kanye West. So I'm pretty sure you can see where I'm leaning towards here. The kid's a fucking genius, all right? I was 100% saying this dude's off his rockers. This dude's snorting up mountains of lines, mountains of cocaine with Oscar De La Hoya. That's what's going on. But the more and more I look at it, and more importantly, the more engagement I see that fight getting. That fight was big, man. That's a huge, big name marquee fight already for boxing. But since Ryan started doing all this, it's been growing more and more and more. And let me tell you something that also makes me go, hey, this kid might be a genius. It's got his opponent a little bit shook, right? We don't ever see Haney firing back and trying to find receipts and going, talking to fans, engaging with people in his comment section over things that Ryan has been saying. We don't see Haney doing that, but he's doing it now. And now I'm wondering, is Ryan getting to Devin Haney? Is Devin Haney looking at him like, hey, man, should I really be prepared to fight this guy? Or is they going to stop me from fighting him because he's really insane? Is he going to pass a drug test? Why is he saying these things? Why am I having to defend myself? Those questions could be weird for somebody leading up to a huge fight. Do I think that's going to change the outcome of the fight? No. But the question is Ryan Garcia crazy? No. I think the kid's a genius.
I think that is a good ploy, dude. And a lot of people are thinking he's kind of genius too. The more it plays out, like at first, it was just instant crazy. I'll be honest. I'll be following this and I'm just thinking, yo, Oscar's dealer just like sold him way too much shit. That's all I can think of. All right, and yo, you guys might hopefully you guys seen those really really awkward moments of Ryan on Ariel's show where he was saying some wild stuff, stuff that any of you guys know is just 100% not true. I don't care what athlete or any kind of sport. Yo, I raced professionally for 11 years. Do I think I could take a couple months of practice and take out any of these guys? No, but I would destroy them in the car. These things don't matter, Ryan Garcia. You're crazy. But also added on to that, Sugar Sean O'Malley's reply to that was golden. So if you guys just go on the internet, go find that if you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to say this. Boxing is a freak show in 2020s. All right. It's all about how much fucking noise I can make about this thing so people can pay attention. I definitely think he's crazy like a fox. I think he knows how to work the people, not in an intelligent way. No, I don't think it's like, oh, he just knows. I just think he's from that generation. He's like PC Strickland. No, I'm just kidding. He's just part of that new wave of communicating over the internet.
The troll
era. Sorry, bro. But yeah, just saying stuff that's disingenuous, but on purposely disingenuous, and then everybody else gets it, and then except for guys like me, when I'm like, what? So with that all being said, I'm actually going to tip my hat to Ryan Garcia for promoting the shit out of a boxing event that I think a lot of us are looking forward to. And that was just a joke earlier, by the way. Me and Ricky watch a lot of boxing together. I know damn well this wasn't his favorite fighter. I just had to say that. Now, we're getting to the end of the show, and you're probably wondering, what the hell are you going to still talk about? Well, I got a couple things I want to talk about. First, and again, the AllStar. All right, please download their app. Follow on Twitter, X, not Twitter anymore, and all their other socials, Instagram, whatnot. All right, support the cause. That's what we're here for. Beyond that, I think we're gonna go one by one and share, something we're anticipated or thinking about coming up this weekend. And I got my 2023 Las Vegas PFL shirt because I'm going this Friday to the PFL Las Vegas. I'll get a 2024 shirt. I'll rock it again later. And I'm really, really looking forward to this. I just want to say, Viva la PFL. Okay, I really like what they're doing. I really like what they try to do. And at the end of the day, all of their efforts benefit fighters and fans. So, folks, if you have any real gripes about the UFC or what they're doing, all you got to do to motivate the UFC is give their competitors attention. I was there a long time ago when the Pride Championships came out of nowhere and forced the UFC to become a better version of themselves. I'm hoping, like Pride, like Strikeforce, PFL will, in a way, make the UFC better through combat and competition. All right, I'm going to go to Sean. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about obviously UFC 300. I mean, PFL. I'm stoked for you, Rob. I mean, being out in Vegas, like, you got the PFL, you got UFC 300. It has to be like Disney World for a UFC fan. So, exactly. So UFC 300 just completely on my mind. The big thing, I mean, come on, guys, the graphic department get the flyer a little bit better, so we don't have to know that it's just from Getty Images. But besides that, just stoked for this whole weekend. Let's all join. Actually, here's another time to promote it. Join the spaces. You can hang out with us, talk about the fights. Go on Twitter. You just have to find one of our @. We're all on the spaces during the fights. If you're watching during the fights, find one of us on Twitter and hop in.
There we go. That's a great promo. And also during our space, you never know who might show up. Ricky's there. He shows up.
I'm always there. Sometimes on dad duty, so I might be in and out, but I'm always there. For me, man, exactly what Sean said, UFC 300, right? This is what we've been waiting for. One thing I'm really looking forward to, the shorts, the customized shorts for these guys, man. When do you ever really see that? They're trying to make UFC 300 special in as little ways as they can. Definitely not by the promotion poster, but outside of that, the shorts are freaking awesome, man. Max Holloway's, Pereira's, Zhang Wei Li had hers, Justin Gaethje had some. Like, the customized shorts are freaking awesome. I'm really looking forward to seeing those. But outside of that, one championship, 4-ounce Muay Thai forever. Always looking forward to that.
Are you guys opposed to the Sean Strickland jorts that I made up? Or
they already existed. One championship.
Okay,
Rob got to see them.
Rob
got to see them on one of the heavyweights. He wears those like it's the regular shorts, but he has them designed to look like those jorts.
Bring them to the UFC.
Dude, need to.
Jorts. Another gift for the all of world to accept our Americanism as we slang jorts into your society. You're welcome.
Rob.
Yes, sir.
One more thing I'm looking forward to, man. We can't end the episode without getting to it. I'm looking forward to your guys' grades. Your grades on UFC 300. What is the expectation for it? We got to give it the grades because we know we got to grade it afterwards for the next episode once it's all said and done, if it lived up to the expectations.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the expectations are very high. Like I said, leading into this, I'm sorry I missed that boat, but leading into this, has to be the most talked about event in a really, really long time. I'll just even blindly sugarcoat it with the most talked about event since 200. It's just that easy. It's the most talked about thing anytime. Okay, put 300 on the same upper echelon as whatever Conor McGregor comes back, if he does, when Jon Jones fights, like when he did most recently against Gane. Those type of moments in UFC timeline just create a lightning bolt and everybody pays attention. I think this is one of those. I think I don't know what the scale is out of a 10. I think the expectation level is a 10. Sean.
Yeah, I think you get those international fight week cards. Everybody's like, oh my God, this is the best card ever, every single year. But you guys are finally getting a card that I think from top to bottom is those cards that everybody dreams of, where, like I said earlier in the show, you get a champion in almost every fight of the night, or a former champion in almost every fight of the night. The matchups are good from head to toe. I mean, you look at a lot of these Apex cards, or the cards that people shit on, it's always by these fans that aren't the core fans, the ones that show up every week. It's usually casual fans, and those Apex cards end up being bangers because the matchups are so good. This is a card where you have so many good fights on it. It's a pay-per-view card where you might not get that Apex feel where the matchups are as good, but this is that card. The matchups are good. The champions are on the card. Everything's aligned to be a great card, and it's hard not to put it as a 10, but I'm going to just drop it to a 9.9 because who knows? So 9.9 for me, but I'm excited.
Ricky, what about you?
I'm gonna sound like a hater. It's high, all right. It definitely is high. And how could it not be high, guys? This card is delivering. Now, yes, it doesn't have that $1 million pay-per-view by name and Conor McGregor that everybody thought, everybody was hoping for. Get off of it, right? It doesn't have the draw of the casuals that we were hoping for. But this is a non-casuals delight of a card. Yuri Prohaska, Aljamain Sterling, Holly Holm, Kayla Harrison. Those are on the prelims, guys. All of those people I just mentioned, former champions, all on the prelims. It's freaking insane. For me, I'm still giving it an insanely high rating going into the card. Mine's going to be a 9.3, which is insanely high for me. 9.3 going into it, and we'll see if it lives up to it when we go into our next week's episode.
That's it. And folks, this is your time now. I hope you've been paying attention. This is what I'm going to say. Leave your comments. Say what your expectation level is, all right? Start paying attention to us and what we're doing, because I got a good ass giveaways coming up. And I'm just going to throw this out there. The main event, Pereira, Jamal Hill, I've given out prizes, both of their gloves, both of them autographed, I've given away. So somebody out there is going to be really happy, and somebody out there is going to be a little bit sad. But anyways, that's what it's about. We got big things planned. We got big gifts planned, but we need your participation. We need your help, all right? And that comes in the form of comments. So let us know any of the topics that we talked about, any of your opinions on it, especially your expectations for UFC 300. In the meantime, you can reach us on our socials anytime, and please do. We want to connect with the community. All right, with that being said, thank you guys for joining us. It's been a wonderful time. See you later. All right.
Shama.